So, as we return, the courtyard has begun to fill a bit more. There's probably 30, 40 people in this half semicircle. Probably about 5 or 6 guards that are keeping them all back. 2 individuals stand within. There's a boy probably about 19 years old, big, strong, kind of looking like a linebacker, wearing an orange vest, overalls, kind of a lumberjack type deal. There's Lark, who's just removed his vestments, is there cracking his knuckles and getting ready for a fight. The Emperor stands facing them, ready to call the order. A guard stands towards the back of the door, and that enters the garage. Behind that door is a woman that's up against the wheel of a car. Whether she's still breathing or not, it's hard to tell. And up in the shadows, we see Dusk. Dusk, there's a guard standing right outside that door, facing that circle where Lark and this boy are about to go at it. There's a woman down below you, leaning up against the car. Face is bloody. It looks like her eyes have received glass in them and not doing so well. But all the attention seems to be pulled to the inner part of that semicircle. What would you like to do?
So I can get to the guard without being seen?
Oh yeah, you're quiet. You actually, you pass by the woman. She's still breathing, but it's ragged. It doesn't sound like she's doing that well. And you see Drag there. He always stands with his foot kind of limp to the side. You recognizes him as not being the fastest, but he tends to be the one that guards the door to the main part of the castle, kind of a door guard. But he's also been the one that's kind of been bringing all the other guards around and been a mover. But he's standing there, just staring in like that. You see him kind of excited, almost bouncing, just getting ready for violence.
Okay. So I approach him from behind.
Mm-hmm.
And I grab his hand and start using the in-brain puppet strings.
Okay, go ahead and roll that weird.
Oh boy.
Yeah. All right. So for our puppet strings here, on a 10 you get to hold 3, so you have 3 on Drag. What is your command?
Once Lark doesn't start to look so good, she wants the guard to intervene and defend him however he can. Even if it means killing the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Protect Lark no matter what.
Rest in peace, Limp, if he tries that. Because it'll be the Emperor kind of get down. Don't stop the duel. Come on.
You recognize that this is one of the guards. Do you inflict a little pain? Do you spend one of your hold to inflict some pain to just reinstill okay, the shivers down your spine, the Winter Wraith is here, I better follow this, make you more powerful than the Emperor?
Yeah, I guess as a added incentive.
So, as you kind of release his hand, you cause that shiver to go down his spine, and you see him twist his leg in an awkward way, and he bends down, grabs his knee, massages it, but stands up, and his attention just pulls straight to Lark, just kind of staring him down. He reaches down and grasps the hilt of his sword at his side and just gets ready to watch the fight. So Emperor, the crowd's ready. It looks like the opponents are ready. What do you have to say?
The Emperor throws his hands in the air and says, "You all know the rules. 2 men fight. 1 man leaves. Now, today is a glorious day because we haven't had a good fight in a while, right?" He kind of gets the crowd to cheer even louder. Now, as is tradition, I will now ask each of the candidates to see if they wish to request a second. Lark, do you wish to request for a second? Any man or woman present here is eligible to accept or deny your request.
You begin to see like Rourke pushing towards the crowd, almost expecting for you to call to him.
Lark kind of looks at Rourke, seeing him come through. He turns towards the Emperor, takes a step towards him, kind of like getting as much in the Emperor's face as he can without like looking like he's about to like leave the circle. I solve my own problems. I deny my request.
The Emperor nods, turns to the boy. Do you wish to request a second? Any man or woman here present here is eligible.
He looks around at all the guards. Ain't no one here better than in Ashtown. No, I fight my own battles too.
Kind of turns his back on the Emperor and goes back to his starting position.
And the Emperor kind of like stands over to the side of the crowd. When my hand drops, the fight has begun. 3, 2, 1, and his hand drops.
Last sprints immediately, going to tackle you to the ground. Just running straight at you.
All right. So he goes for a tackle. Is he like going low or high?
It looks like he's gonna try to like grab you high and bring you to the ground.
Lark's going to try to sidestep him and kick his leg out.
Okay, we're moving into the battle moves now. Get ready to open up your other sheets. We're gonna have some fun. So yeah, this is definitely single combat. I'm not sure if we'll ever have a more perfect situation for single combat. When you do single combat with someone, no quarters, exchange harm, but first roll plus hard.
All right.
I didn't know
I'm not sure I've ever really gotten a... I don't know if I've actually gotten a proper chance to use these rules.
Yeah, no, there's a whole bunch
wow.
of battle moves. So the full thing is on a 10 plus both, on a 7 to 9 choose one. On a miss, your opponent gets to choose one against you. So you either inflict terrible harm plus 1 harm, or you suffer little harm. Because we're doing fisticuffs, and I don't think you have any special abilities. This is probably just 1 harm, 1v1. As your fist goes up and he goes to try to, or you're trying to sweep the legs and he's trying to tackle you. So yeah, with a 10, you suffer little harm and inflict great. So I think that it explains that situation completely. As he goes to charge at you and you just sweep his legs and he stumbles and falls face first onto the ground. The crowd like immediately, yeah. So yeah, he gets down there and like as he pulls himself up, you can see a bit of blood has like come from his nose as he landed pretty hard and kind of dripping down in the snow before. But he goes to stand up and then try to swing, like lash out at you. But you have a moment as he's getting up. What would you like to do?
I want to try to parry his blow and get as behind him as I can.
Okay.
And if successful, Lark is going to try to choke him out.
Okay. Yeah, I think for this one. What do we think this is here? Is this a seize by force? Is it? I think it is. Yeah, I think this is a seize by force. You're trying to literally take control of the circumstance. So when you try
Lark
to seize,
wants to end it quick.
Yeah, when you try to seize by force, again, you would exchange harm, but first roll plus hard. So again, he's trying to swing, and like you're trying to use his momentum to move out of the way and grab him by the neck and begin to choke him out. So roll that hard.
Oh,
Oh shit!
it was bound to happen eventually.
Man, you couldn't have rolled worse.
He like goes and lunges at you, and he cracks you across the jaw super hard. So you take 1 harm. And as you like, as you look up, you begin to like see the faces of your cult in there, and like there's this look of expectation. So as your face gets spun around, let's go ahead and roll the harm move, and you begin to see the eyes of those that you care about watching beginning to.
All right. And I get my 1 armor from divine protection, so I'm rolling off of 0 harm.
Perfect. Okay. So with that, you lose your footing, you lose your grip on what you're holding, lose track of someone or something you're attending to. You miss noticing something important. I think just the force kind of knocks you to the ground a bit, and so he's able to get up on his feet before you are. Dusk, as you're watching the fight, like as soon as he gets hit, you see Drag's like hand tighten on his sword a little bit, but he doesn't move yet. He's still watching. Do you just stay there kind of watching the scene, or do you try to go somewhere else?
I still have food back at the shack, so I guess I'll watch this one.
Okay. And Emperor, are you just watching as well?
I'm watching. I'm actually like, I'm watching out the outskirts. I'm actually heading, like, I'm walking slowly towards the cults.
Okay. So you're.
If it gets too bad, guess who I'm going to ask to intervene? Question mark.
So as he gets to his feet, he sees you down on the ground, and he goes to try to kick you in the side. He just starts running over and try to put a boot in your side.
Lark is going to try to roll and just Mortal Kombat style kneeling uppercuts.
Okay. So I'm gonna have you act on fire to roll to begin with, to get out of the way of his kick.
Oh boy, so many rolls.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
So you begin to move, but you like get this fear that he's a big boy, he's gonna be able to kick far, so you end up rolling a little bit farther than you want to, so you're not able to come up, but you're able to get to your feet. So now you're both kind of standing there, and he wipes a little bit of blood away from his mouth, and he looks at you, and you got a little bit of redness, but it's not enough. Like he's expecting for there to be more damage to your face, and it's not there, so he looks a little confused. Like pulls his sleeves up even a little bit more, and just like kind of stands there. All right, fucking stranger, bring it.
Lark brings it. He lunges in. Lark kind of has his fist back, but instead of throwing a punch, he gets a little closer than it initially looks like he's going to, and swings his elbow in.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna do single combat again, as he's expecting you to come in, so he can take a blow, and you're trying to go for yours.
All right. That was just a straight hard roll again, right?
Yeah. Okay. So choose one. Do you inflict terrible harm, or do you suffer little harm?
Let's see. I already have that 1 armor from divine protection, so I guess I might as well inflict terrible harm.
Okay.
Like I catch him with like the point of my elbow, which is like known for like opening people up.
You come in, you crack him across the jaw. He's able to get you in the side, but again, you're feeling the pressure. You're not feeling the pain. But with that crack, his head like turns, and you hear like a sound, and he falls back, just knocked out. Just hands back behind him. Immediately, the crowd's like, yeah, cheering.
Invictus starts like chanting like quietly, finish it.
Go ahead and roll that exchange harm move once more, just see how much that hit in the side actually affected you.
All right. So again with 0 harm. Divine protection's wonderful.
Oh yeah.
7.
Okay.
Do I even need to have your back?
Right.
The entity already
For a
has your
fist
back.
fight? Nah, not so much. Not so much.
In a fist fight, you're quite literally unstoppable.
Yeah, you take a moment to adjust your side, and you start to hear the crowd vanish him. Like you can see him still breathing there. His eyes are closed. And he's just laying there, kind of arms at his side, face kind of to the side.
Lark is going to he's gonna grab this kid by like he still has like his lumberjack shirt on, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna grab him by the back of the shirt and just start dragging him back towards the garage where East is.
Okay.
And when he gets there, he's just gonna throw him next to her and leave.
So you grab him by the back of the shirt and you begin to drag him back. Like it takes you a while because he's kind of a big boy, and just as you're about to get to the door, you see a flash, and he's pulled a blade from his side pocket that he was reaching for, and is now going to gash you in the side of the leg.
Oh, the moment that blade comes out, Invictus charges in with his sword drawn, slashes at him.
Well, he's there.
Yeah,
You
no,
got a
he's
little
getting
bit.
it
Let's
first,
see what
but
he does
Invictus is
first.
But Invictus is coming. Don't break the rules under Invictus's watch.
Oh yeah.
All right, so
They're
I have to
outsiders,
roll.
man. It's chaos. It's all
Am I
this
rolling under
obligation coming out.
Am I acting under fire to avoid the knife?
I would say so. Yeah. Try to move out of the way or knock it away. How are you trying to avoid it? Drop him and move, or stop it before it gets to you?
So I'm kind of. So I think Lark is going to try to like just drop him and get out of the way. But whatever side he got the knife from, Lark's going to try to like push him onto that side and hopefully pin that arm.
Okay.
Ow.
And who knows? He might fall on his own knife.
It's
Can't
true.
blame me for that.
It's true.
All right,
Yeah,
so
he's a cheater anyways. At this point, the crowd itself has permission to, like, ravage him, so.
all right,
So you see a moment the blade starts to come that you try to rotate his body. You see the opportunity, and you also see the Emperor, that you can grab the knife and you can kill him. If you don't do that now, the Emperor's gonna do that for you. It will then be him completing your task. And you see the eyes of your cult watching intently. Larissa, Rourke, Ram. You don't see Rikara.
all right. If Lark can seize control of this situation himself, he will, even if it means potentially getting slashed.
So no, this is your decision is, like, you've read the moment that you can grab the knife, you can finish the job. If you don't, the Emperor will. So that's your choice to make, is either you're killing him out here in front of everyone, or you're letting the Emperor do it.
Oh, this is a very difficult decision for Lark, but he has like a fraction of a second to make it. I'm just gonna do the roll again. Odd numbers, he does it himself. Even numbers, he lets the Emperor do it. Even. So he gets out of the way of this blade as the Emperor comes in.
Okay. Yeah.
Slash.
You're not even gonna have to do it. It's absolutely suckering someone because he's just so focused on that. So you come in. How do you kill him? Like.
So, effectively, I kind of like with my left hand grab his shoulder and impale him into my sword.
So in this flash of motion, you see him start to spin. Lark grabs his arm, and as he does, you just hear this squelching sound as the Emperor just drives his sword through him. There's like some gurgling. You feel the body fall limp. The ground begins to turn red. The snow begins to turn red. The crowd erupts. Emperor! 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 Start hearing the guards like, yeah, that's our fucking boss, man. That's a fucking boss.
Thanks, Lark.
But like you look across and you see confusion across the eyes, a bit of, but why? Why him?
Why?
So
the Emperor, like, effectively, as soon as he's like, the kid is like done, just slides the kid off of the sword, kind of like swings it a bit to clear the blood off of it.
like a few of the guards, like, yes, get blood on me, bathe me. Yes, cover
I
me.
like knowing them, like I just
The splash
towards
zone.
their direction. God damn it. It's like I swing it towards their direction, like it's gonna make their day, if not their
Yes, I'm not bathing for a week now.
This is how the Emperor deals with obligation issues. And then he kind of like starts changing, like, this is what we do to cheaters.
Mm-hmm.
This man is innocent. Kind of like drumming up the crowd's like hype for this fight, basically.
Yeah, it's as you look around, you see everyone but the 7 or so cult members that are in here who are just kind of standing, staring with a bit of sadness and confusion towards Lark. Dusk, you hear the end part of this, like you see it happen, and you see them start to make their way kind of towards the front of the garage. What you have a moment, and you kind of look over at the woman. It doesn't look like she's breathing anymore. So you kind of have some time alone in this shed. Yeah, what would you like to do? You still have the hold over Drag, but now he's just kind of standing there. You see that his release has moved from his sword, and he's just kind of cheering along with the crowd at this point.
Did I see the Emperor execute?
Oh yeah, you saw all of that.
About
She
half the
is.
people in the town did.
Mm-hmm.
She is visibly disturbed. She's like not in a disgust way, but she feels strange. She feels weird and not. She doesn't really want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks that bad things will come if she stays there, so she just gets out.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to climb up on the roof and basically find your way back out the same way, still using the commotion to... are you trying to go back to your room, or do you have another place that you're trying to get to?
She'll probably have, want to clear out a bit, and then, since it's just getting nighttime, she'll probably go out for food.
Okay. So as you leave, like, and you begin to go away, like, you hear a few people like swear that the fucking winter wraith, the fucking ghost was here. Like there's whispers amongst like this the death of this boy has brought the ghost to our walls. But you're able to scoot away without anyone like specifically pointing at you. You just kind of hear those whispers. And where do you tend to go hunt for your food? Is it within the storage area itself, or do you have like a specific shop you sneak into?
I mean, usually it's the storage area because I think I'm not sure it's easier to access to.
Okay. Yeah, you can get in there, and you know that there's not really people back there because they either work during the day or, again, it's kind of locked off, but you found a way to get in past the locks. So you get back there and begin to scavenge. The crowd begins to disperse after probably about 5 minutes or so, and the guards go over and like, well, we already had a few bodies to put in the incinerator tonight. I guess we can just add this one on top of it.
is the knife that the boy took still on the ground?
Yeah, it's still kind of in his hand.
Lark takes that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, go ahead and add. I think this is just gonna be a pretty common knife. Let's see. Let me pull up my harm thing.
I think knives are 2 harm.
I think there are only 2 knives. They have like big knife and survival knife, and they're both, I think, 2 harm hand.
Let's see. Scissors, handgun, hidden knives, ornate swords, scalpels.
Hidden knife.
Hidden knives are fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll say it's just a survival knife. Like, you know, it's a work knife. So, 2 harm hand. Yeah, I think that's it. Pretty easy. 2 harm hand.
And Lark kind of looks at the knife and looks to Emperor Invictus and just kind of holds it up like a trophy, I suppose.
I suppose, but it's your victory.
A somber one at that.
That's the way life around here goes, isn't it? I don't usually like to do these things, but, you know, people demand blood.
Speaking of which, the boy's mother.
Kind of like Invictus like walks over there. Kind of like just like doesn't really examine her because I mean, yeah. Basically, the Invictus comes back, like walks over there, walks back, no longer with us. It's probably in a better place, probably, if there is another place.
And Lark's just kind of like looking down, like he looks like he didn't want it to come to this. This is not what he wanted. Like he just kind of has like it's almost a pouty look on his face, like just like had enough crap to deal with today. Now this, like,
Just wanted to pray, man.
Just pray.
And they
I
still
want
have
to pray, talk to a ghost chick.
I still have 1 harm from that. I got hurt by the second ghost chick.
You're a bit bruised up.
Yeah, which he is not saying anything about that. He's more focused on the fact that like, and Lark just kind of turns to Invictus and is just like, you know, what they were doing was really not much different from what you or I do.
It never is. If there's anything that I've learned in my short time on this Earth, if you could call it that, is that there's no real right. We're all just out here trying to survive. Whether you're a bandit or a scavenger, whether you're a warlord or a beggar, you're all trying to survive. You're all trying to take what you can to make sure that you get to survive as long as.
What will the story be? What will Ashtown hear?
They'll hear that there was a brawl with some members of the city, and that according to proper judicial law, the issue was resolved with trial by combat, and that they simply perished in that trial by combat. They were consenting to the fight. As such, it is not our responsibility.
And Lark kind of looks up and kind of like looks at Invictus. I'm sorry for all of this.
You don't need to apologize. You see, it's my job to know things about people. That's how you stay in power. That's just how I wouldn't have let you in if I didn't want your particular skill sets, especially with the reputation that you and your group has already. There's a reason why someone is the only one that lets you in. A very good reason.
Well, I suppose I need to have a chat with some of my followers. And I'm sure that you have some tasks that need doing, cleaning up from this mess. You have their truck, their supplies, their bodies.
They'll be sent back to Ashtown. That, I think, is the correct course of action to make. And yes, you should go back to your people. Speaking of tasks, have you learned anything of the task I gave you?
The Wraith.
Yes, the Wraith.
Unfortunately, I didn't have very much time to look with everything that's been going on, but I'll be sure to keep an eye out.
Can I read a person?
Absolutely. Let's roll that sharp.
Alright. Sharp. Partial success. Alright. Where's the question which I count, which is basically, is this person bullshitting me? Is your character telling the truth?
Yeah. Lark is quite obviously not saying everything.
Invictus kind of like slowly approaches Lark and puts a hand on his shoulder. Invictus kind of looks directly into his eyes. And Invictus has a look that he doesn't often hold tight, his position of authority. And this is quite literally a look of, don't try to fuck with me right now, son. And in a very firm tone, Invictus...
Lark is not used to being on the receiving end of this look.
No. Invictus just looks at Lark. He's like, in the end, I could just throw you out. I don't recommend lying to me, son. I don't. Nor, let's just say, creatively reinterpreting truth or hiding information. I really don't recommend it. If you have information, you should probably say it now.
Lark kind of like side to side look. Is there anyone like immediately here?
Drag is still at the front of the door, but all the rest of the crowd is cleared out for now. There's probably like a couple other guards that are just watching over the scene because the Emperor's here. But yeah, other than the dead woman that's there resting on the truck, it's just you two that are actually in the garage.
And all right, so Lark kind of I knew you were a smart man. Was never quite able to bend your will the way I'm able to bend the will of so many others. And to you, the entity still finds you to be a bit of a mystery, but...
Entity.
Yes, the entity.
Now, before you go on and actually explain what you found out, I'm a bit curious now. Tell me a bit about your entity. What it exactly has to do with me. Especially right now that you're bringing it up. I assume it's important.
Yeah, so I imagine like when Invictus and Lark they met for the first time and Lark tried to recruit him, like you probably got like the general like gist of what the cult is about. Like it is about like rooting out the corrupt parts of society and basically like exterminating them or eliminating them, whatever word you want to use. So Invictus probably understands like the violent stem of the ideology a little bit, but yeah, he definitely wouldn't have gotten anything about the entity.
Right.
So Lark just kind of says, "Tell me, have you ever believed in a higher power?"
ever, maybe when I was a kid, but not now. I try to believe in what my eyes can see, what I can touch, what I can feel.
Yes, and for a long time I was very much like you until on the brink of death, a hand reached out to me, but not one I could physically touch or see. Yet it saved me and brought me. I think they used to call the buildings museums, and I found Lark reaches in to his. I imagine he threw his jacket back on because it's too cold. You wouldn't want that off for too long. But like pulls out the small like skull and shows
Would you
it to.
have picked that up during the brawl though? Because she did have it out when you slammed her face. So, is that in your pocket or would that be on the ground?
Oh, that's right. You know what? It probably was like on the ground. Like I imagine, probably like finds it on the ground. It led me to this. He like, picks it up, holds it, kind of looks at the eyes, and then kind of like holding his breath a little bit, extends it towards Invictus. Invictus. Why do I keep doing that?
I don't know, but it just kind of looks at the smells like looks like some fancy old world jewelry to me.
Yes, but to me it meant so much more. But whether or not you believe me or think me to be crazy, this entity does speak to me. Tell me, have you ever found yourself in a strange place that doesn't quite seem to be of this world, something not quite within our reality?
It just kind of thinks back to that like one time very recently where he actually like went up against the maelstrom. And it just kind of looks at Lark with kind of like his face kind of like relaxing a bit. Kind of like smirking. It's like, you may be crazy, but you're not necessarily wrong. Yes, I have.
Yes, and I'm not even completely sure what it is the entity is, but it found me in that place at my lowest point in my life and saved me. For that, I owe it my life, and it has helped me shape my ideology, keep me on a certain path that I feel I must follow, and I teach this path to my followers.
It just laughs and says, "Would it change your opinion of me if I told you that I might have played chess against this thing?"
Certainly not. Certainly more pleasant than how the entity chooses to present itself to me, but we will need to discuss this at length in the near future.
Yes, and back to the normal topic at hand. Ghost Girl. The Winter Wraith.
I honestly believe that that could be related to the previous subject.
Probably. I try to find a reasonable explanation for everything, but there are things in this world that I kind of quite frankly can't explain. So, if you actually have a theory about this, I assume that you have you have reasons to believe this.
I do. If given the opportunity, I promise to divulge the information you desire in a more secure setting. He says, like, eyes glancing towards Drag, who he knows isn't listening, but like he's close and not far off from earshot.
Perfect. We could go to the castle then.
Yes, I will. I'm
Let's
sure
go.
I
And then
need to make sure
starts walking like grabbing Lark and kind of pulling him with him to the castle.
And Lark's just like Lark
as,
begins the protest, but yeah.
Can I just do I still have holds on
you do
the guard?
that's what I was gonna say. Is as they begin to walk, like you eventually hear this slow sound as Drag begins to follow behind. His eyes still just focus securely on Lark. So what were you gonna say, Dusk?
Oh, he's following them. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, you told him to protect Lark at all costs, so that's what he's doing.
Okay.
Oh my God.
It's a very good thing I do not have any malintentions towards Lark right now. It's a very good thing.
Oh my God. Could you? That would be horrible.
I'd have to kill one of my own men, and kill Lark, then find Dusk and kill Dusk.
It would be.
A whole
Angus
ordeal.
would come back and be very
It'd be like, why is half the party dead? It's like,
Oh my God.
yeah, Invictus
I don't think it would
might
even
have
be
been
that. At that point, like the Emperor's killing his own men. He must be crazy.
And this is the story of how I changed to the chopper playbook.
So Dusk, as they begin making their way back to the castle, you're scavenging for food. What else do you tend to spend your night doing, or what else are you planning to do tonight?
Good question.
How does Dusk feel about what she just saw? Does she feel like this is just how people are now, like it's nonstop violence, or does it affect her in any way?
Yeah, I guess in a way it's how she views people now that nobody is to be trusted, at least not immediately, and possibly everyone means some harm. Don't know. So I guess after scavenging for food, I'm not sure how long that takes.
I think you probably have a ritual of it where you know exactly where to go, where Rothschild and Dust Switch kind of spend their time loading and unloading. You had just seen them earlier in the day, kind of loading fresh vegetables into a stall not too far away. So you can probably get in there pretty quick, and then if you happen to look out the door at any time just to see what's happening, you probably see Lark and the Emperor and Drag head towards the castle. You also see some of the guards begin to grab the bodies of East and Last and begin to bring them to the incinerator, which has been stoking throughout the day, as there's a decent amount of bodies to be burned. The rest of the crowd has begun to kind of go back to what they were doing before, finishing their meals, going for drinks of fermented goat's milk or whatever they spend their time doing. And it's starting to quiet down to the place where you like it. Like, this is your play time. So you have the chance to kind of go out and do whatever it is you want to do. I guess, what is it? What is it that brought you to this place? I think you mentioned that you followed someone. Who was it that you followed? Or was it just happened to be there was a person going somewhere, it's not necessarily all that important, and you've just found a reason to stay? Why is it that this is the place?
I think before she arrived at the castle, she used to pass through the villages on the outskirts. But then she saw caravans filled with goods like food, and followed them to the castle. And since it's a bigger settlement and has much more food and places to hide or take shelter, she decided to stay. I'm not sure if Lark at some point mentioned they encountered her on the road, or at least caught a glimpse of her.
Someone similar, I think he said, that there was another woman that seemed to have similar abilities, but definitely not as powerful.
Yeah, like Lark is aware that some people have a stronger connection to the Maelstrom / the entity than others, and like he kind of like actively seeks those people out, like thinking that they're like you know like I can't think of the word right now, but some sort of like some holy significance. And yeah, with someone who's kind of like experienced such things, hearing about the winter wraith and everything is like, that sounds a little bit familiar, which is why he's actively seeking Dusk out.
So Dusk, as you're eating your meal in your room, you start to hear sounds coming from your window.
Hmm. She gets up and can she reach the window to peek out?
Yeah.
Okay. She tries to peek out
Peek
discreetly.
out and you look and you look across the mountains to the place you don't like looking, to the dark zone. The sounds are coming from there, but it doesn't look as dark today. You have the expectation of seeing bad things, so you turn your head away. But you keep hearing the whispers, and you feel like it's calling to you.
From the mountain.
From the dark zone, that area within the mountain where you've seen nightmares and strange things, where the Emperor sees war and destruction. Everybody seems to see something strange coming from this area of shade, of changing, of strong maelstrom presence that's deep within the mountains. But yeah, it seems to be calling out to her.
Does she feel disturbed by this? Does she feel compelled to follow?
It feels familiar.
Familiar. In a good, bad sense, or do I decide that?
In a recent sense, the sounds you're hearing are very similar to the sounds you heard when you were drawn to the skull.
Okay. I guess I'll get out and try to.
Do you want to
Have a
open
look.
your mind to it? See
Oh, I
what it's
can
all
do that?
about? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh boy,
sure.
that's the best
Open your
weird roll.
mind to the dark zone.
So yeah, as you kind of look towards us, trying to figure out what's happening.
Oh.
Dear. Okay.
Ooh. Ooh,
You
that's unfortunate.
you close your eyes and you awaken back in a familiar room. But this time you are not strapped to the bed. It's a man, but he's covered with a white sheet. You can see breathing. You can see the top of their head. And you feel something cold, metallic in your hand. You look down and you see a gun, a handgun. Dark black. Seems to have a full clip in it. Feels heavy. And without your control, you see your arm reach out and pull the sheet back. And at first it looks like another surgeon, just laying there in their white gown with their blue mask. These eyes, these piercing eyes that look to you with a bit of fear, a bit of concern, but also with confusion of what are you? You reach, you grab for the mask. And this is a face that you've seen. This is the face of Lark. He's laid there, strapped to the table. Again, almost as if you have no power, you feel the gun begin to move and rest upon his chin. And that's when you feel a grasp at your shoulder. You look, and it's a dark, black, almost marble-like hand. You turn, and you see this thing standing above you, but it doesn't feel concerning. It feels welcoming. And in this voice, it says, "Child, the power can be yours if you're willing to take it." You feel your finger start to twitch. Do you pull it?
She clearly does not want to, but is she able to actually control her finger to stop it?
Yeah. Act under fire, I would say, to resist the influences of the entity. Okay. You come to a realization. The gun must be fired. If you aren't going to shoot Lark, you can shoot the entity, or you can shoot yourself.
She really doesn't want that either.
You feel your finger beginning to bend. No matter how much force you have, you hear the small squeaking of the trigger. It's only a matter of time before that shot goes off, and it needs something to shoot.
She'll aim at herself.
Aim it at yourself, and you hear the click, the loud explosion, and then you just see white jolt out of it. You glance back over at that dark zone, and right around the edges of it, you see this red, it almost looks like lasers that just rotate around this dark shadow for a moment, just for a brief moment, and then fade away. And you find yourself kind of having to breathe a bit, calming yourself down like you have so many times before. Taking a deep breath. And then refocusing to move on with your day. And I think with that, that's where we're going to end for the night.
All right.
So let's
Awesome.
run through some session end stuff. And then we'll wrap this video up. So, Emperor Invictus, who have you gotten to know, or who knows you better than they used to?
I think Lark does, honestly.
Honestly?
Like, I think we've had enough interactions. So do I up the HX?
So he would mark +1 HX on his sheet for him. If that does bring you to +4, then you take an XP for that.
Okay.
And so, Dusk, who do you feel knows you better than they used to? And if there is no one, you can either choose at your whim. If no one knows you better, you can choose a character who doesn't know you as well, and they can take a -1 to their hex.
I think Lark does know Dusk better. The little that they interacted, she didn't say much, obviously, but I think he knows that she can be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell yes.
Just a little bit. Just a wee bit. Awesome. So, go ahead and mark.
Actually, yeah, pretty good.
Mark that.
Yep.
That was probably really significant for Lark too, because it's like, oh my god, couldn't protect me from that.
It means that there's something special about this person.
Yeah, which
If they can fuck with like entities from the Maelstrom, that means there's something there.
Oh, yeah. The Winter's Wraith.
Yeah.
So what about you, Lark? Who knows you better, or who knows you worse?
oh boy. There's a really good argument for either. I'm gonna have to go with Invictus because I mean he saw through my lie. He kind of got like
I did a you to you.
I know. I think that's what like tips it like just slightly in his favor.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right. Anybody get 5 XP tonight?
Yes, I was at 4 from the last session.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
There you
Hell
go.
yeah.
Leveling
I was 1 XP away from getting that move I really needed.
up.
Yeah.
You'll have it for the
Yeah.
next time. I have a feeling those situations aren't gonna stop now.
Man,
So,
someone's gonna have to start piloting your heart now.
right?
Yeah, after this session, after this session, I feel like I need to take like a faceless move or something.
I mean, you gotta.
Oh,
if
boy.
you look at your cult, they disdain law, peace, reason, and society, and they have a hunger and violence as their want. Like, yeah, probably not a bad idea to in this place where everybody's fucking hyenas and savage and all that stuff.
Oh my god.
It might not be a bad idea. Well, awesome. So, yeah, that does it for us then for tonight. When we come back, we will continue on into this this madness. I think I had a lot of fun tonight. Hopefully, you guys did as well.
Oh, this
yeah.
got intense real fast.
No, this was lots of fun. I got to like actually do my whole like actually playing the political moves around, which is great.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I
Like everything just went like I was expecting things to stop at like 6 and we went to like 13 already.
Mhm.
Like even what should have been the most organized moment of this entire thing, the meeting of the inner circle, ended with Angus like the worms bursting out of his hand and him having to set himself on fire.
Welcome to Apocalypse World. I hope you enjoy your stay.
I
I am. I don't think the characters are.
No, Invictus is enjoying the hell out of himself. Only
Oh,
Invictus,
boy.
though.
All right, awesome. Well, I'm gonna go and wrap up the video. So, thank you anybody that's watching on YouTube. If you feel like joining into this crazy thing, we do have quite a few games running. So feel free to check out our Discord link down below. Thank you everybody for playing tonight, and we will be back hopefully next week with everybody again. So take care. Have a great one.